Hello and welcome to Jedi Jingle Maker. This is my YouTube channel where I create music with the gear I review. I hope you will subscribe, like, and comment on this video. Let me know what you think. Today we're going to look at my newest guitar, my beautiful Johnston HSS guitar, which I recently purchased from the good folks at Sweetwater. And I'm going to tell you all about what I like about it, what I don't like about it, what I plan to do with it, whether or not I would recommend it for you, my overall opinions about it, and next steps. And we're going to interweave all those topics together over the next 15 minutes or so that maybe if you're deciding if you want one, you can be more informed. But if you look at my other guitars, what you'll see is like a lot of shred guitars, sorta, you know, but also leaning towards a classic vibe, and all those elements shine through in my choices of guitars. And this guitar was really my choice for a more classic sound to integrate into songs. The one that you just heard prior to this video was recorded 100% using this for the guitar parts. And I was trying to get that classic sound. You certainly get it. I'm going to talk about some obstacles I encountered to getting those sounds and next steps here in a moment, but it really has checked that box. Now, first impressions. You take this thing out, it has an alder body, which is a classic style of wood for this type of guitar. It feels solid. It has some weight to it, not too much, 8 pounds-ish. Feels like a Stratocaster, feels like a quality, solid, well-built guitar. That's apparent right out of the box. And of course, the look is striking. Now you're looking at a slightly modified version. I have replaced these knobs with Telecaster knobs, and I've also replaced the string tree that it came with, which was metal, with this graphite string tree, but it is mostly the way it came. And you know, the first thing that might jump out to you beyond this beautiful alder body is the finish of the paint. Looks very nice. I mean, it feels super quality, which is important. It's just a solid color, but this is the kind of thing that should be able to hold up for 30, 50 years, you know, honestly. So it should be of that quality, and it feels like it is. Also, the green pickguard, this color green, really, to me, is perfect. I like the way the chrome goes with it, so the look of it is insane. And, you know, when you continue that chrome through the knobs, oh my. But it's a great looking, great feeling, quality-wise guitar. Now let's talk about playability. When I initially got this guitar, it was pretty high action. And I was surprised at how well it actually held tune, however, using the Tremolo, but it was pretty high action. And it had, I think it had 10s on it. You know, don't quote me on it, but it seemed, you know, it was resisting, more or less, what I wanted to do slightly. But I knew that was just because it needed a setup. Actually, the Tremolo, this is just the kind that rests on the body more or less, but you can float it ever so slightly. The Tremolo had a little bit of dive in it towards the back of the body. You know, it was noticeable to me, not a big deal, but my point is this thing needed a setup. So you buy a $800 guitar, $900 guitar, it's absolutely, in most cases, going to need a setup. And these are coming from, you know, lands far, far away. I've been in shipping containers and for very long amounts of time. And you need it set up to the way you want to play it. So what I wanted was 9s on here. So I wanted it set up for 9s. So took it in and they set it up beautifully. Now it plays like a dream. In fact, I might go in to have it readjusted just a bit. I think the neck has moved slightly since I had it set up. If you have a good situation with your guitar tech, you know, hopefully you go back in at no charge and they'll just do a quick little adjustment if it moves a bit, because sometimes they move over time. So my advice is, you know, don't sweat it on the truss rod thing. Also learn how to use it. I'm actually waiting to get a Stumac straight edge to be able to start adjusting the truss rod on my own, because slight movements are needed as you go through the seasons potentially, and it's good to know how to do that without having to take it to a tech. Okay, let's talk about the specs on this guitar, and we'll just run right down through them. You heard about the Alder already. This is a classic 2-point tremolo. I found it to be extremely solid. I mean, if you look at that and listen, there's no creaking, no instability whatsoever. The way the tremolo arm is a vintage style 2-point tremolo, Schecter tremolo. I found it to be very good, very solid. The connection point between the tremolo arm and the unit itself is a friction point where you tighten an Allen key spot right on the back end of where it connects, so it just sticks right in. I like this solid kind of tremolo arm as compared to the old school Fender kind with the plastic piece on the end. So to me, I give this top ratings, and really surprised at how well it holds tune, to be honest. But you know, the key is going to be getting it to an even better place, is to play it for a little while, but then also to lubricate the touch points. One of the things I love the most about a tremolo like this is the fact that you can adjust each saddle individually. I actually just ordered a set of string radius measurement devices, so I'll be able to set that much more accurately than I used to. Now the pickups are a combination of this Schecter 78 pickup and then the two Nick Johnston. These are the Diamond Series pickups that come with these guitars, and here's my opinion. The Diamond 78, I like it. I think it's solid for a more vintage style, maybe closer to it like a JB type pickup, Seymour Duncan JB, but different, a little more mellow than that type of pickup, but still good. I like it for the classic rock stuff. And now the single coils, however, the jury is still out. I've got severe hum going on with this guitar. Severe is what I'd call it compared to my other single coils. And another alarming thing is that when I lift my hand off, the hum gets worse. When I touch the strings or ground to it, then the hum reduces a step. A big noticeable step. So that probably means I've got grounding issues. Now I'm planning to remedy all that by doing some electronics changes in the near term. And let's just get right into talking about what those are. I'm going to bail on these two pickups, and I'm going to get something much better. If you have a recommendation for what would produce a more hot, you know, kind of Nick Johnston style sound, maybe his actual pickups at the next level up, but I probably want to go something Seymour Duncan. But if you have a good recommendation for a good hot single coil, let me know. And I'm going to keep this. I'm going to remove this 5-way switch. I can't stand these things, and I'm going to start to eradicate them from all of my guitars. I've played with them for years like this, but when I'm strumming, I tend to be a hard strummer. I just end up hitting them constantly. It's switching unintentionally, so that's going to go. That'll just be a empty hole there, and I'm going to replace this tone knob, sacrifice the tone knob, and I'm going to put a 5-way selector, PRS selector switch there, so I can just switch it down here, not hit it with my hand. I think that'll be a big improvement. The next thing I'm also going to do, well, first thing I'm going to do, I should say, is I'm going to shield this entire cavity and perhaps the back cavity. I'm thinking ground both of those shieldings to the electronics properly. Also going to make sure that we have a treble bleed on this volume knob, because I really like to have a treble bleed where it maintains the treble on the signal even when you roll the volume knob down. Now with those changes, the electronics on this guitar should be outstanding, and this will be world class. Right now, it has proven to be somewhat of an issue for recording, and I'll tell you why. The 60 cycle hum is so noticeable that I've had to like very strategically slice it out of recordings here and there so that it wasn't distracting. And that gets old, so it makes this guitar in its current state not usable in the studio setting for recording in the long term. So I've got to get these things fixed, and then this will be a mainstay for all my classic rock type of songs. And stay tuned until the end of the video. You can listen to a song recorded completely with this. The full length is available on the YouTube channel and on all the music platforms. It has the brass inlays in the fretboard, a roasted maple neck, which I can say on mine is exquisite. You can see that it's got a couple of those kind of mineral marks in it. I like that. Gives it character. Let's look at the grain on the neck. I like this pattern. This is a great playing neck, and the feeling on the back of the neck is something like polished, like a glass. It's like a glass. It's so fast. It's a satin neck. But the fretwork I found to be adequate. I wouldn't call it perfect, but pretty nice, pretty nice. I'm going to take the step of, I actually just ordered a StewMac fret end finishing file. I'm gonna actually just ever so slightly get this perfectly rounded on all cases. This is a graphite nut, which is excellent. And when I had it set up, that was one of the things that they adjusted slightly, but it's a little bit hard on the edges here. Not that I hit that with my hand much, but it'll bother me a little bit. So I'm gonna use the fret end file to just round those ever so slightly. You can see I've already replaced the string tree with the graphite. That's a Graphtec graphite string tree, which is a good move to do. These tuners are excellent. I have these on a couple of my guitars and I love them. They're the Schecter locking tuners. And one of the things I like about them the most is that they have these big knobs. So it's very easy, unlike the Goto, which are my second favorite. Have the smaller knobs, they're just a little bit easier to not tighten all the way, or to have a hard time tightening one without hitting the other one. These, for some reason, just work great. Now, the one drawback is, though, that these are regular height tuning pegs. And to me, that's a big ball drop. If you had staggered tuning pegs, you wouldn't need that string tree. And therefore, you'd have one less friction point on this tremolo. So that's a drawback, in my opinion. Party foul, but I could always replace these tuners. The problem is I love these tuners. I just wish they were staggered. These are ex-jumbo frets. I think they're just nickel frets. They work great. I've been very satisfied with them. I really have not had many issues with my frets wearing out on my Stratocaster. I'd say that would be the best place to look for maximum wear over a many-year period. And you could find a little bit of denting on this one, but even then it's minor, so minor. So the whole idea of the frets wearing out, I'm not that worried about it. These play great, really great. Although, hey, stainless steel is fantastic as well. So would I recommend this to a friend to buy? I absolutely would, but I would caution them that if the electronics are an issue, they might have a couple mods to do, but I would also claim that who cares? This is a fantastic platform for modifications. And as long as the foundation of it is super solid, I always expect to have to do a little bit of electronic fiddling to get it to where I want it to be, and especially thinking about having the 5-way selector switch, etc. You know, that does reduce the resale value of the guitar, but I don't plan on getting rid of this guitar. This guitar to me is one that I plan to keep for the rest of my life. Honestly, I can't see needing a better guitar necessarily. It is really perfect in every way, with one minor exception, and that is the upgrade of the electronics. So I'm a big Schecter fan. As you might have noticed, there's more than one on the wall, and they all are great. They really are just fantastic guitars, so no complaints. Here, only love for the Schecter brand and for the beautiful instruments they continuously pump out. I've got many more on my radar, so stay tuned. Well, thanks for watching. Now let's get in and listen to a little Jedi Jingle Maker. I hope I see you on the next video. Check them all out. I've got hundreds of songs now available using all these instruments. I've got about 3 songs out that use that one exclusively. And you'll know which ones those are because they're on the Orange album and they are very recent. Thanks.